Hello and welcome to the Diverge podcast, brought to you by Squirt Cycling Products. There's always a day in every single Absa Cape Epic that kicks you in the head. And for me and quite a few of the riders, that was stage 3 of the 2026 race. The longest day since 2012 when they raced 147 kilometers from Robertson to Caledon. This year, 140 kilometers from Montague to Greyton, to Middelplaas on the western side of Greyton, just to add a couple of extra Ks to the day. And yeah, lead changing hands in the men's race. Bad day for Tristan Nortje and Matt Beers with another puncture and a long chase. Great day for Marc, Pritzen and Felix Stelhi, winning the stage. First victory on 32-inch tires for Felix Stelhi, and another good day, solid day, controlled day for Candice, Lill and her teammate Alessandra Keller. The background to all the drama is just, the fatigue starts to catch up to you. Wednesday, stage 3, is sort of hump day, and once you get through it, it kind of feels like you're going downhill. You're in the groove, in the routine. It's the day that you, working on it feels the most fatigue. You're counting up until stage 3, and then you start counting down the days thereafter. And I think psychologically more than physically, it gets easier. As you can hear from my voice, my voice isn't great at the moment either. Feeling a bit raspy. On the racing side, well, actually more logistical issues as well. A long drive, long transfer, lots of traffic. So yeah, crossing the route, and just all in all, just one of those days where minor things just keep going wrong until eventually you're so behind that there's no catching up, which is kind of what happened for Tristan Nortje and Matt Beers. They were looking pretty good, and I had thought that the stage I thought it was going to be a nothing burger. I thought there's not much climbing, it's open roads, they're going to be in a group, it's going to be relatively easy. Anyway, I was wrong, very, very wrong. And mountain biking has a way of humbling you like that, and the Epic has a way of humbling you like that. Because when the weather gods changed their mind and it started to rain, the track became more muddy, a little bit grippier, and then it was a bit of a black southeaster, so there was a tailwind as well for the second half of the day. And I don't know where Tristan Nortje punctured exactly, if he as well, because Luca, his teammate for Toyota Specialized Imbuko, punctured in a puddle. He says it must have been a nail or something in the puddle, because it wasn't a sidewall cut. Just went straight through the tread of the tire. So I don't know if it was something like that, but they ended up chasing again, just as they chased on stage 1, but without the legs, with the fatigue of 4 days of racing, or 3 and a bit days of racing in their legs, and then with the teams up front contributing, and with the tailwind, they just couldn't close that gap, and they ended up losing 1 minute and 16 seconds to Wilier Vittoria's Luca Braidot and Simone Avondetto. So with that went the yellow jerseys to the Italians. On stage 4, Nortje and Beers started in the Absa African jerseys for the first time, jerseys that they've held as well since the start of the race, of course. Out of that front group, though, while there was a little bit of looking at each other and who was going to set the pace, because Braidot and Avondetto have raced, I think, very intelligently. They've been very sparing with where they have expended energy, and I don't think we've seen them go into the red yet. It just seems like they've been in control and quietly confident this whole time. Which doesn't augur well for the later in the week, but things can change so quickly once again in this race. Anyway, while the group was sort of checking each other out a little bit, Marc, Pritzen and Felix Stelhi, who had lost a massive amount of time on stage 1 with mechanicals and punctures, seized the opportunity. They rode off the front, and then time trialed for the last 40-50 kilometers to a stellar solo victory, and yeah, they were both pretty emotional at the finish line. Not as emotional as Marc's dad, but yeah, very, very emotional at that victory. And you've really got to think, like, for them, yeah, a big win, a bit of a career-defining win for Marc, who's been focused on mountain biking for the last few years, and then for Felix, who's sort of dabbled in it before, but has made kind of a more concerted switch across to mountain biking from road and gravel racing in the last year or so. So yeah, really cool to see them win. They're such lacquer oaks as well, so it's always nice to see nice guys do well. And yeah, they not only took a historic stage win, but Felix racing on his stall bikes, the first bike in a UCI accredited race, first 32-inch bike in a UCI accredited race to win. So yeah, very, very cool there. And he sung the praises of the bike as well. I mean, as he would for having won the stage, but also it looked like it was the right machine for the day, especially with those sort of grippy roads and then the tailwind. They could really put the power down and get out there. After the stage, we had a quick chat to Matt Beers about the disappointment of losing yellow, to Marc Pritzen and Felix Stelhi about the elation of their stage victory.
That's obviously a heartbreaking moment there, but you guys fought hard to limit the losses as much as you could. Yeah, interesting weather conditions as well, which obviously didn't make it easy with the tailwind and the rain.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think any of us were prepared for the weather, actually. I mean, we knew there would be a little bit of rain, but it got real nasty. I don't know where it was, like Riviersonderend kind of area. And then, yeah, it was dry the whole way here. So super strange tailwind, obviously. So hard to make up gaps when there's a tailwind. So, man, just had to limit our losses, just do what I could.
Into familiar territory now, you know these trails in Greyton, and then you know the trails in Stellenbosch as well. Even this big transition stage, good opportunities there to make up time, maybe suit yourself and Tristan as well, a little bit with the big climbs to come for Tristan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we lost a minute, but we know this Greyton terrain. I think it suits Tristan a little better, and then also the other big days also like coming up.
Been in this situation before as well, which does help.
Yeah, exactly. It's bike racing, a lot can happen, so we've just had a little bit of rotten luck. So let's see if it gets better or keeps getting worse. We'll see.
What sort of pace of this is the epic, eh? Tough couple of days for the team with punctures and some midfield, and then today everything worked out perfectly.
Absolutely, and I mean, last couple of days have been tough, and yeah, I mean, obviously it puts a little bit of doubt in your mind because you're not racing in the front, so you don't really know where the form's at. But I knew I came into this race, and I've been having a really good year. I came into the race flying, and yeah, it's nice to be able to show it today.
And must be really proud of Felix today as well to come out, because you know he was having the issues earlier on to make that positive turn and then just come good in a massive way.
Absolutely, and I mean at the end of the day, as much as Felix was struggling, I also had to make a little bit of a mental switch. You know, I was struggling as well to accept that we were out of the GC, and in a certain way, yeah, it's challenging to you know go through all the emotions. I mean, you've worked for this for 3-4 months, and then the first 2 days you're out of the contention of Epic. So yeah, I mean we had a good chat last night to try and pull everything together, and yeah, I mean we were in a situation that wasn't ideal, and yeah, we made the most out of it coming into the third stage. I mean, we always said we wanted to, then start losing some time somewhere, and yeah, just go for a stage somewhere.
Looking ahead to the rest of the race, the next stage that you're going to target that suits you, you're going to try to go again tomorrow, or maybe conserve a little bit tomorrow or later on in the week?
I'll see tomorrow how I feel after today's effort. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna enjoy the win we had today, and yeah, we'll take tomorrow as it comes.
Felix, bit of a difficult start to the week, but today really came off, and I think right at the beginning you said today was going to be your day.
Yeah, I mean, I had a new attitude today. I was in the front from kilometer 0. And yeah, for me, it was so hard in the last 2 days to stay in the front in the beginning. And today, like, yeah, I woke up and I felt like today could be the day, and to pull it off together with Marc is unbelievable.
I love the mountain bike, the 32-inch wheels, how do they go on the big open roads?
Oh, it was super fast. The rolling was insane. And I believe like the future for gravel racing and marathon mountain bike racing gonna be certainly.
In the women's race, She Sends Foundation tried. They gave it a good show with a cunning move where Greta Seevold went up the road on a pretty innocuous piece of gravel road, and then Kate Courtney bridged across to her, attacked on a bit of a rise and bridged across to her, and they sort of had a good time trial effort going there for a while, but Candice and Alessandra Keller were able to shut it down. It took them about 5 minutes or so to work their way back to the She Sends Foundation team, and after that, with the two top teams in the race away together, Candice and Alessandra Keller kind of bided their time until they got into the single track and jeep track near the end. The last 19 kilometers was rougher again, and there they attacked, and once again were able to put in a bit of time on their nearest rivals, adding another 1 minute and 22 seconds to their general classification lead. Behind them, starting to see Efficient Infinity after their terrible day on stage 2. Were better on stage 3, but maybe not where they would want to be. They definitely want to be closer to the fight for victory than the fight for third place. Today, very much in the fight for on stage 3, very much in the fight for third place, up against Chem Champ Honeycombs, Hayley Preen and Hayley Smith, as well as the Topado FSA Kenda team of Karinza Sosna Penele and Georgiana Marquette. They went head to head. They came down to a sprint finish, and Vera Lauser and Rosa van Dorn managed to take the victory for Buff, BH, Efficient Infinity. I think I got the team name wrong a little bit earlier. But yeah, so managed to leapfrog up a little bit in the general classification standings. On the back of that, Van Dorn and Lauser, they're fourth now, overall 31 minutes down, and about 49 seconds behind Hayley Preen and Hayley Smith in third place. So they'll be looking to move up on stage 4 as well to regain that third place on the elite women's general classification position that they very much feel they have the right to. Not that you have a right to anything, but they do feel that they should be and should be able to display themselves as the third strongest team in the race. Ahead of them, She Sends Foundation's Kate Courtney and Greta Seevold now trail Thomas Maxon, Sabis, Candice Lill and Alessandra Keller by 4 minutes and 53 seconds. In the context of the women's category racing at the Absa Cape Epic, that is not a big gap at all. There's been many, many years where we've seen gaps of over 5 minutes between first and second on individual stages. So it is close. And there are some big days to come. Stage 4 is a 60-kilometer stage with a fair bit of climbing and some rugged terrain. Stage 5 is almost 100 kilometers again. Very, very big day with lots of climbing. The Queen stage of the race, and then 6 and 7 Stellenbosch will be climbing heavy stages as well. But on more manicured mountain bike trails where punctures are a little bit less likely. But still, getting into the back end of the race where fatigue really starts to set in, we will see who has conditioned themselves the best for this year's Absa Cape Epic. In the men's race, the general classification standings as they are heading into stage 4 have Luca Braidot and Simone Avondetto leading by 1 minute and 14 seconds from Matt Beers and Tristan Nortje. David Valero Sanero and Marc Stutzman are third at 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Then Buff BH have ridden their way back into the general classification picture at 4 minutes 54 seconds. And Canyon's Lucas Schwarzbauer and Sam Gaze are 5th at 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Lots to race for then in the back half of the race. And for South African fans, Toyota Specialized Imbuko's race is very much not over. Lots of opportunities still remaining, and it's all going to be about how well Tristan Nortje has recovered from the efforts of stage 1 and stage 3. A little bit better weather, a little bit more climbing should suit him as well, and we will see if the Italians have been bluffing or if they genuinely have been as strong as they have seemed to be. Time and the Absa Cape Epic will tell. Until next time, cheers.